Last time on The Intern, most of our candidates were troubled by the trick question, a plane crashes at sea, where do you bury the survivors?
In terms of burying the survivors, first of all, you have to notify the families.
It's crashed already. The survivors will be in Togo. They will be ready in Togo,
Whilst some buried the survivors, others were looking for dead bodies of survivors.
That is if you can find their body.
We make a memorial for them. We don't bury them because I don't think the bodies can be found.
It wasn't all doom and gloom. 2 candidates of the group got the answer correct.
They can't bury survivors.
They're not dead, so why are you burying the survivor?
Who will be the next Dangote, the next Tyler Perry, or the next Oprah Winfrey? Everyone at the top started at the bottom. It's time to find the stars of tomorrow. It's time to find The Intern. Today on The Intern, we also had interactive sessions with OFEM on cooperating with the competition, Chris on marketing fundamentals, and Emilia on building sustainable brands. Make your voice heard. Tweet at The Intern or post on our Facebook page.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every...
See what others can't. Meet the 41 megapixel Windows Phone Nokia Lumia 1020. Nothing else comes close.
Welcome back. One of the core ingredients for surviving on The Intern is a candidate's ability to cooperate with the competition.
Now, why are we bringing this topic to you? Why is it important to the intern show? You all have come here. You're fighting for one thing. You want to become the intern. But you won't become the intern alone. You need to work in teams. You work with your competition. This same guy who is sitting beside you, when you get to the boardroom and he needs to nominate someone or, get someone's head for him to get ahead, he will get you. But how do you work with this same person, knowing that this person, you need him to succeed, but there will come a time where you need to sacrifice him also to succeed. That's what we want to discuss. If you look at these relationships, each of them have one thing in common: shared values, shared interest. What is your interest coming to the show? You want to be on the intern. Advance your interest a bit, you want to win. But for you to win, you need to work in teams. And working in teams means cooperating with your competition. How do you go about cooperating with your competition and not losing your leverage? When we're talking about this, I think the first thing you should be doing is to begin to look at doing an evaluation of each competitor. We've broken you down into teams so that you are more closely knitted groups than if you were all as a group. All right? It gives you an advantage, it gives you the opportunity to begin to talk to people who are your close team. Like, okay, when we first came in, it was like there was a major divide. First audition, one group. Second audition, another group. And then you find that, boom, if we're going into tasks now, you will struggle because you don't know them, they don't know you, and you've not done any evaluation whatsoever. That evaluation is two-pronged. What is their strength? how can you use their strength to your advantage? What is their weakness? How can you help the weakness for the sake of the group and then use the weakness for your advantage? Because you are in a competition and you must survive. Secondly, you need to determine what is motivating your competition. Let's look at football, for instance. A team comes like these guys who run them over, and then you go, you find that a team that is down, like you look at the FA Cups and the Capital One Cups, you see that teams from League One, some that are non-league clubs, even are beating Premier League clubs that are spending a lot of money. That's because, people, they just look at them, these guys, I earn £100,000. This guy earns less than £5,000 a week. But what is motivating that guy? He wants to be seen by the Premier League clubs who will hire him to come and play higher. So he would die to ensure that you don't score. He will fight to ensure that he scores and his team wins, so that there's some attention, media attention towards his side, and scouts can come and look at them. So to succeed working with people who are competing with you, you need to evaluate what their motivation is. Because if you know what is motivating them, you will know whether they are people that you can form an alliance with for mutual benefit, or there are people that you can just keep as foes. You know that this one is an enemy when she needs to be, and she's a friend when she needs to.
What do our contestants think about OFEM, his presentation and management of the boot camp, and as camp coordinator?
OFEM has been a good instructor so far. We've not had the conventional slides and write-ups and all, which kind of helps you it drives the point home more. Because you always remember the examples, you'd always remember what he said.
OFEM is when I mean someone that lights up the room. No matter how, whatever emotions or whatever emotion is in the room, he can bring life back. If everybody is down, everybody is gloomy, he knows what to say and what to do to bring back the laughter into the room. So he's a very lively human being, very lively person.
Coming up next, what is marketing? Join the conversation on social media. Make your voice heard. How does marketing differ from sales? And what are the 4 or 7 P's of marketing? Our bootcamp candidates find out with Chris.
All the sort of activities that you do towards providing a product and service and offering it to the end consumer. That essentially is what marketing is all about. So it's about developing and offering value. Marketing starts off first by what? By creating awareness, right? Right? And then it proceeds to what? At this level, you've got a ton of people that you're speaking to, right? A huge number. Am I communicating? At this level, essentially you're looking to create awareness. Let's assume, for instance, that you develop a new product and all that. So you want your chosen segment of the market to be aware of that product. And that segment necessarily has to be large, right? And then once that awareness is created, the people who then are aware of that product or service then begin to make consideration about whether they do require it, whether they need it. Do I need this, TM Lewin shirt, or would I rather have something else? Those kind of things pop up here, and then you get into conversion. Conversion is where you actually do what? The person has now made an informed decision to say, yes, I prefer this particular brand of product to its competition. And then loyalty. So the person has used it once, he likes it. The loyalty bit ensues when he begins to make what? Repeat purchase of the same thing over a period of time. And then at the end of the day, what then happens? Advocacy. When the person becomes more like your brand ambassador, he's now going out, telling people about the value of the product you've got.
Make your voice heard. Tweet @TheIntern or post on our Facebook page.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy.
How do we move from developing a product to getting it in the hands of the end user at the end of the day? And so it's a huge number of activities that you carry out. First of all, you've got the product itself, and that's largely around product development. But before you go into product development, there are a number of things you need to do, right? Is there a need in the market for the product? So you carry out market research, you determine, for instance, what's the right segment of such a product, the segmentation, all of that comes into the product development phase and all that. And then of course you get into pricing. And pricing requires a bit in terms of research, requires a bit in terms of resources. What is the ideal price? Given all the resources you're putting onto the table, what will be the ideal pricing for such a product? Companies don't just wake up and slam a price on a product. There's a lot of work that goes into it, right? And part of pricing as well is when you begin to talk in terms of, for instance, being able to provide discounts. Would that, if you provide discounts on a product, would that affect your bottom line? That's also very, very important, right? And then you come down to place, which is really around distribution. Where are the ideal locations, outlets for me to basically move my products to, so that the end users can have access to it and can actually be able to buy it. You've got promotion, which in this day and times is largely called marketing communications. And that's really around advertising, social media, public relations, a huge gamut of stuff and all that. This is really where you talk about the value, the essence of the product. The other three, relatively new, added to the mix, are the bits around process. And this deals with the internal dynamics of the companies that produce our products and services. What is the process internally? Are those processes conducive to ensure profitability, and so on and so forth? The people, who are the people behind it? The physical evidence, which deals with the environment that's involved in developing products, in marketing them, and so on and so forth. That again is very, very important in the marketing mix. So all these broadly are key determinants of your marketing strategy.
The Intern, brought to you by Art Pro Media Group in association with Nokia Lumia 1020 and supported by John Holt PLC, Swab Clothing, Art Place Gallery, The Peach Company. Join the conversation on social media. Make your voice heard. Whilst other candidates were so impressed with the content of the presentations, Ola draws parallels.
It's been quite good. Chris has his way of getting you to understand things, but for my persona, I think he can come up as boring at first until you actually pay 100% attention, and but on a tired day, he's not the person you want to listen to. On a tired day, but on a day when you have all your juices flowing and all of that, fine, you can cope with but on a tired day, you sleep off.
What is the concept of sustainability and how does it affect business and building of lasting brands?
Prior to now, people just focused on the economy. Please, let's make money. They didn't think about the society upon which the economy exists. They didn't think about the environment that supports everybody. Prior to now, people were only bothered about financial capital and maybe manufactured capital. Nobody thought about human capital, people that will do the work. Nobody talked about social capital. Nobody talked about intellectual capital. Nobody even considered natural capital upon which everything exists. You can't really have a manufacturing business without land. So what is sustainability? How do you analyze, process of analysis and decision making across every business function, strongly informed by an appreciation of the radical transition presently underway. So you're just saying that, look, how do I understand, analyze the problem? And it might be any business. It might be saying, oh, I am a pure water distributor. And I'm just thinking back all the way to where they get the water from, how they treat the water, how they package the water, how it journeys down to my shop. When I sell it, the people that drink it, where do they throw away the bags? The pure water. What can we do with the pure water sachets, bags, when they are done drinking? Do they constitute a waste? Is it not pure water that blocks the drainage so that when rain falls, everywhere is flooded? It's just thinking, and it may sound, all of this may sound like a lot of grammar, management consults, but it's just about that your little business, that organization that you work, thinking about the process through and through from the beginning on this side to the end. In the 65 minutes that I spent with them, I saw a lot of interest. I saw much more than interns, you know, as they are or they want to be. I saw people who had keen interest. I saw eyes pop, you know, with passion, you know, on these issues, and I could sense that some of them were already thinking through how they're going to navigate through the very murky waters of business, so to speak. So I think that we have really bright minds. I wouldn't want to mention any name or point out anybody, but I could notice across the table 3 people particularly because of the questions that they asked and the things that resonated with them. And I'd say the others as well have a great chance. So I look forward to cheering them on from the comfort of my living room, and hope that the best man or woman most preferably wins at the end of the day.
Coming up next, it's day 2 of boot camp, and our candidates face their sternest test yet. Make your voice heard. Tweet @TheIntern or post on our Facebook page. It's time for the dreaded mock GMAT test, and it's guaranteed to make the most confident of our contestants break a sweat.
Could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Larger, larger than, bigger, bigger than, living hopes and dreams. Every boy and girl. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world.
How did our contestants find the GMAT test?
The test was horrible. It was, I mean, I've been writing a lot of tests, but this is the first in a long time. And I mean, the test was bad. I felt disappointed with myself for not knowing the questions. But I mean, I told myself that I'm just human. I can't know everything. But I mean, the test was bad for me.
It went like every test went. It was really tasking, but I believe it was okay. I did the best of my abilities. I hope what I did was actually good enough.
It was difficult though, but I tried. It wasn't so hard. The verbal was quite okay compared to the quantitative.
As regards to the test, well, the test was quite difficult. Questions I wasn't familiar with actually, and at the end I did my best. I put all I could into it, and I hope for the best.
The test was quite tasking mentally. The maths questions were totally unfamiliar, but basically you'd figure it out. I was trying to work my way around every situation.
The test, the English was fair enough, but the maths was very confusing.
What has Henry got to say about his collection of jewellery?
They have history. This is a finger rosary. I'm a Catholic. This, I would say, is an engagement ring. Nobody wants to believe that, but let me say it's an engagement ring. Why this is just a fashion statement.
Join the conversation on social media. Make your voice heard. With the mock GMAT over and the test scores yet unknown, contestants break into teams to perform a PR damage limitation exercise with a lesson that could prove useful for some in the coming days.
For this session, you will be working in teams. The guys on one side and the ladies on the other side. And the task is simple. A water company, you can call it whatever name you decide, has a serious PR crisis because someone drank their water and the person is in the hospital and it's a serious issue. You are the PR agency and they've asked you to come up with strategies to spin it up in the media, sort out the person who is the victim of this, and then of course ensure that it doesn't damage the brand. What you will need to do, number one, is each team will select a leader. First, you get a name for your team, select a leader, and then, of course, go into executing the task. You have 2 hours for this task, and the time starts now.
Team members discuss team strategies and rationale for choice of leader.
We chose Henry because he's outspoken. He is someone who gets out the details, as the most minute of details, out of an assignment or a task given to him. He lays it down in organizational detail, and his ability to spot out a mistake in very minute areas. I think that was the reason why we actually gave him the vote for him to be our leader.
For me, it was a personal decision. I feel he has what it takes to hold us together He listens to everybody. He allows you to express your viewpoint, and I think that's very key for someone who is leading a team made up of a lot of intelligent people. You need someone who can listen to a lot of ideas flying in and out. So that was what made me to select Henry.
Olawumi, my team leader. I think she's great. She has lots of ideas. She's okay. It's okay.
I think she's outspoken.
Make your voice heard. Tweet @The Intern or post on our Facebook page. Coming up next, the teams have their presentations ready. Who has brought a winning strategy and who has made a complex situation even more complicated?
Good day, everyone. My name is Jeff. I represent Alpha team, and the leader is Henry. Our attention has been called to a press release concerning our client, H2 Waters, with respect to an incident that happened to Susan White, who drank the product of our client and was hospitalized. Therefore, we were called in as a PR group, and we took the following steps in trying to manage the crisis situation. I would like to remind you that these steps were taken up simultaneously. They were all going on simultaneously. The first thing we did was to do a quality control analysis. We took this in two parts, internal and external. So the first thing we did externally was to ascertain the environmental analysis of the place where the incident occurred. Secondly, we looked at the distribution channels. Where did the woman get the water that she took? We also looked at the storage condition where she bought the water of our distributive channel. We went internally, we recalled all the batches of that particular product and went through quality control process that happened on the day the product was produced. And then we also did a background check on the victim and discovered that Susan White was actually an ulcer patient.
Join the conversation on social media. Make your voice heard.
My name is Olawumi Oyedeji. I'm representing Roots Consult. We got a complaint from our client, Laser Water, concerning one of their consumers that was hospitalized after consuming the product. Basically, what we've come up with as a 3-step strategy is, number 1, a pre-negotiation stage, a negotiation stage, and a post-negotiation stage. The pre-negotiation stage is where we get a confirmation of the entire situation, what has happened, the situation analysis, that is medical reports, laboratory reports, pictorial evidences, location of the consumption, sales and storage facilities of the area where the product was consumed. Then we set up a team within the company to attend to the crisis, both corporate communications, lawyers, quality control managers, and everybody involved, just to ensure that our own end is being covered. We ensured that the retraction of all the products at that particular location were made immediately. And then, after sorting out our own quality control from the company itself, we decided that the entire product that was made during that period, the entire batch, was retracted also immediately. And then secondly, the negotiation stage, which is the plan A, was to invite the entire family, the family representative of the victims, his lawyer, and someone really close to him for a settlement meeting, a closed-door settlement meeting, since we're trying to avoid bad publicity here. We began negotiation with the above parties, with our own lawyers present. And then we ensured that an adequate sign-off after compensation was being agreed upon, and also ensured that contracts and documents were maintained and documented to prevent any form of comeback.
Make your voice heard. Tweet @TheIntern or post on our Facebook page. Team Alpha and Ruth's Consult have made their presentations, but what does OFEM think?
I have listened to the two presentations. First, I'll take on Alpha team. Wonderful PowerPoint presentation, but disastrous PR strategy. Very disastrous. What you were doing was as though you were the company yourself. Basically, you were not coming as a PR agency that is helping the company. And then the strategy you put in where you were going to do a background check on the victim. The company can fight the victim to death if they want. They have the resources to do that. Go to court, do all manner of things. So by the time you go and start doing a background check on the victim, you're looking bad. The first thing the company wanted was to solve a problem. Right or wrong is unimportant. There's one thing in law they call nuisance value. What it will cost the company to fight that guy is much more than money. And they wanted to settle. They wanted to just, deal with the PR mess and move on. And you're talking about background check, and then you've gone into things like, who cares if the guy smokes? Who cares if he drinks? When something is bad, it is bad. So, someone is sick. It's like saying a company that is doing 1 billion or 100 billion a year is up against a woman from Ajegule, and you're going to do background check. Basically, people will just feel you bought those results. Nobody will believe you. And so, if you come up as a PR company and give me that kind of strategy, your contract will be cancelled. You did not introduce your team members. So if you are coming to make a presentation afresh to someone who doesn't know them, you just introduced yourself, the leader of your team, and boom, you went on talking and talking and talking. So if I wanted to, because see, personal stuff is very important when you're dealing with, if we're at a meeting, I would like to refer to. So, you, Ebuka, what do you think? You, Henry, what do you think? And if I don't know their names, and you just went on, my name is Jeff, I'm the speaker for this team. And then, Jeff, if you get onto the show, you have to be more literal in your presentation. Your presentation was, more like a secondary school style presentation. It didn't work for me. If you go to speak to a company you're looking for business from, they won't give it to you. It can work for selling yam, but it won't work in the boardroom. All right? So Roots Consult. Major issue I had with your presentation is that the typeface of your writing, I couldn't see it from where I was sitting. And then you made the other mistake of just, going on with your presentation. I didn't know any of your team members. I like the fact that you people actually put a strategy in place. So it was, if I am going to buy a strategy across this table, I take it from the women. The ladies came with a strategy. And their strategy will work to manage any crisis, because first you need to solve the person who has nothing to lose is the most dangerous. The company has millions of customers to lose. That guy has no reputation, has nothing. And you guys were going after the person. Background checking and all of that. that won't work anywhere. And then where I didn't like your strategy, part of it is that I would believe from that strategy is that after settling, why go and admit it in public? You've settled. This matter in the first instance from your presentation from the beginning said the matter had not gone to press. It was just known to a few people. So going to press is like you are undoing everything you have done. No, you made a presentation. I listened, I took notes. So I would take your strategy, but I'll throw a lot of things out of it. Your strategy is disaster. The company may even go out of business because you get one troublesome lawyer who will decide to buy that guy's case and take it home. And then you'll be up against real trouble. Right? Okay, so that's it. So I'll give it to the ladies.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy.
See what others can't. Meet the 41 megapixel Windows Phone Nokia Lumia 1020. Nothing else comes close.
Join the conversation on social media. Make your voice heard. The mock GMAT test and overall performance results are in. There is tension, anxiety, and nerves are on show as contestants learn their fate.
I would have loved to take you to the final of the intern because of all that you have shown. But, you know, if you look at your trajectory, you came in through the audition and all that you've done, I've looked at you like a guy who can show promise. But you failed woefully with the test. And the test is a major thing that we look at to test whether you can stand the rigors of the internship. How much do you need the internship? Okay, welcome to the finals. You came, you showed yourself the best that you can. We would have loved to give you an opportunity to go into the finals of the show. But somehow, there's something missing. There's a disconnect between the person you presented at the audition and the person that came to the bootcamp. And that's our major worry. We'd like to have nice-looking guys like you on the show, but good looks are not enough. Most of you have been a disappointment, including yourself. I'm sorry. We can take you to the next phase. Maybe you try again maybe next year. Watch the show, look at your mistakes, go back home, correct yourself, and come back next time. Thank you very much. However, welcome to the intern. As much as I'd like to take you through, I can't, I'm sorry. If I take you through, how much will it mean to you? Are you certain? Welcome to the intern. You've shown us cracks from your GMAT to the presentation you led with your team. Myself and the rest of the judges have decided, and sadly we can't take you through. I'm sorry. Thank you. We've looked at the different dynamics We'll have to let Jumoke go. The two of you will wait. Jumoke, thank you very much for coming to the Intern Show. It's not the end of the road. There are greater things ahead. And I believe so strongly that you've got a lot to push that your bushmeat business far. Would like to hear more about it. You know, and if there are any ways that the Intern Show can be of help to your business, you let us know. Thank you very much. You girls wait. We value people like you. We like your story. Maybe you try to apply for the 4th season. We will look at you. By then you've learned. You will have become a veteran of the process and you understand better. Thank you. Ebuka, how badly do you need the intern? Welcome to the intern. Amaka, I'll give you a chance. Welcome to the intern.
Thank you.
Andrew, it's difficult to take you through because you haven't completed the process of the show. We delayed the test, which is a critical part of it, because you sent in a message that you would only be able to come this morning. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it. We would have loved to take you through, but we can't. We like creative and artistic people like you. You play the keyboard, it's wonderful. You're already doing stuff in media and PR, it's good. But I'd like to encourage you. This is not the end of the road. It's the beginning of greater things for you. Maybe it's about time you step back and look at some of the areas where you've not been able to do as well as you would have. So, on that premise, we can't take you. Thank you for coming to the intern. Thank you very much. We've put you through the learning, and you've not done very well. Same with you, Kumbi. You came with a lot of promise. We thought you could do better. But you haven't. However, we'll take Kumbi through. Sonia, you're out.
The Intern, brought to you by Art Pro Media Group in association with Nokia Lumia 1020 and supported by John Holt PLC, Swab Clothing, Art Place Gallery, The Peach Company. Join the conversation on social media. Make your voice heard. Our selected candidates are ecstatic, whilst others are downbeat, as they learn their time with the intern has come to an end.
I'm short of words. I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's a miracle, and I thank God.
I just couldn't hold emotions because I was lost, because I was trying to accept. I really said before I entered, I was ready for any emotion, and frankly, I was pushing towards the positive one as always. But after the first reaction, statement he made, and I was like, well, it's not meant to be. It's not my control again. I've done my own best. But after he opened the floodgate and told me what I wanted to hear, I just couldn't hold emotions again, and I'm really, really happy to be here.
Make your voice heard. Tweet @TheIntern or post on our Facebook page.
Fly higher than the sky, shine brighter
Every cloud has a silver lining, or so they say. With 2 spots vacated by our UK candidates who could not make it this season, Jeffrey Goody and Sonia Ogbonna are called up to fill the spots. Our candidates have had time to bond and get to know each other at the Intern House. But what do they really think of each other?
In the house, I'm closest to Henry, closest to Della, and also close to Michael because he's my roommate. And I'm also close to, basically the boys. But in terms of rating them, Henry, Michael, Ebuka, and Vava.
I would say they are cool, to use that word, if I need to use the word cool, because they seem to be they bring 2 different personalities. Because the guy, when you hear about, sometimes you hear of Ghanaians that are laid back, and he really portrays, maybe to a large extent, of the laid back attitude. But obviously, I think when he comes to the business part of it, when it comes to action, I think he sits up and all, but generally mixing, I think he's quite laid back. The lady, I would say she's more Nigerian. Maybe she has a lot of Nigerian friends because she's very outgoing, she socializes, cooks well and all that.
I'm attracted to Sonia, because I'm actually attracted to fair-skinned ladies, So I guess, she's the person I'm really, really attracted to, and we have this kind of chemistry between us, although we tend to dogfight sometimes.
What I like to rephrase is somebody who I respect what I hear about her, okay? And that would be Kumbi, because she seems to be doing so much already. And I'm really impressed that that people could be young and be doing something at the same time. That's basically what I think. But talking about intellectually shaking my foundation, I'm yet to see someone who would do that.
Ola is just my friend. There is nothing going on between us. I've come to like her because she engages you. I don't know if it's because of the work she does. She is able to engage your brain, and I love her level of intelligence. And when I'm always with her, I try to learn something from her. I'm that kind of person who always want to learn, and I always learn from her conversation. That is what keeps me close to her.
The next most intelligent person should be, God, I don't know why I'm finding it difficult, but the next most intelligent person should be, I'll give it to Kumbi. I think she's smart. She knows her onions. She has something upstairs.
Adma Kumbi. I admire her a lot. I think she's very smart, and I always try my best to learn a bit from her, because apparently she is doing something that I do. Her work she does internship, mentorship and all that, and it's basically something I also do. I'm very comfortable around Jeff because he has a fiance. So I feel he would be open-minded to whatever relationship I try to build with him. So I feel very comfortable around him, but it's nothing romantic. We talk about his girlfriend, we talk about my boyfriend, so it's very open.
Baba came into the house very introverted. I mean, extremely introverted. Everybody had issues with that. And I was commissioned to get him out of his closet, which is the genesis of our friendship. And till date, it's still nothing more than a platonic friendship. And it just happens that getting to know him more than what everybody thinks of him, he's quite intelligent and there is more to him. than they can all say. I'm sure everybody would probably underestimate his capacity, but I think he's a very strong link. So that is just it. Nothing romantic, there is no attraction anywhere.
The most interesting person, I know it's Michael. Yeah, because he just has a way of, even when I'm maybe not in the mood, he just has this way of bringing out something, just trying to make me be in the mood. He's very interesting. He always has something to talk about, something to whine about. He's just interesting to be with.
Everybody brings their own bit of it, everybody. But I'd like to say I've had quite a number of discussions with Ebuka. Is a bit, he's very competitive. I've never seen anybody like that. He's playing a game with you, and then, you know, the only thing he wants to see to the end is he wants to win. Man, that's a big thing, you know. So Ebuka, you know, gets me on that uncomfortable position, you know. That for me is a big deal, because if someone always has their eyes on, you know, the goal, that's something for me to be worried about.
A lot of emotional bonds developed in the first 2 weeks at the Intern House, but the most pronounced is the relationship between Ola and Vava.
I would say there are a lot of, I used to term it connections in the house. We have the Ola and Vava. They're like the reigning couple in the house.
What does it mean? It's Igbo, and I'm not Igbo, but I know it's a form of prayer.
What is Igbo?
Igbo is the... it's a language the people from the eastern part of Nigeria speak. So when I say someone is an Igbo man, it means he's from the east, right? Like you have Chi, you have Gara, and Ko.
I'll say he's a pillow for her to rest her head on.
Next time on The Intern. Having gone through the whole process of selection without meeting the boss, candidates get their opportunity to meet him, and he doesn't leave without assigning the first task.
Could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Larger, larger than, bigger, bigger than, living hopes and dreams. Every boy and girl. You could be